A Trump-Modi exchange on continuing US-India trade talks and a conversation soon lifts sentiments. Stocks of exporters rally. IT and industrials also clock gains, while auto and consumer durables see some profit booking.
Urban Company's 1900 crore rupees IPO gets fully subscribed on day one. CEO Abhiraj Bhal says, tells CNBC-TV18 the company aims to continue growing at the same clip and it is nearing break-even.
Stocks of exporters and shrimps and other marine products rally after the Commerce Ministry says that the European Union will open up its markets further, leading to an immediate 20% increase in exports. The thaw in India-US relations also rubs off on sentiments.
Vodafone Idea has knocked on the Supreme Court's door again, this time against an additional AGR demand raised by Department of Telecommunications. The telco is seeking quashing of the demand and a review of the AGR math.
Good afternoon, you're with us here on Business Lunch. We are coming to you live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Hormuz Fatakia. With me as always is Vamakshi Dhoria. Vamakshi, good afternoon. It's a Super 6 today for the Bulls. It's a sixth day of gains, of course, but well, 25,000 still proving to be a bit of a barrier. The Bulls would definitely be hoping that the final couple of hours we do manage to go past it. We did so intraday, but we couldn't sustain above that.
Absolutely, Hormaz. And you know that 25,000 mark has been a it's been a psychological barrier. You know, so far we've seen the index trying to cross that mark on multiple occasions, but failing to sustain on that. But no doubt today is a good day. It's a century as far as the Nifty is concerned, and we've got all batsmen on the front foot. Take a look at some of the stocks that are moving around in trade. There's a lot actually. Take a look at some of the stocks that are in focus on the back of some news flow. Take a look at Coastal Corp. That stock is up almost 20%. Apex Frozen is one such other counter that is flying high in trade. Avanti Feeds also. All of these shrimp stocks in focus. Ria will tell us why shortly. But apart from that, a lot of these textile names are also jumping around in trade. Indo Count is up almost 20%. So is Wellspun Living, which is up almost 8%. So it's a good-looking screen for now, Hormaz.
Shrimps and textiles, the two buzzwords of the day, but the other one, of course, is Oracle Financial. The stock is up 9%, and that is after its parent company reported results, and it was a very strong commentary as well coming in from the management. In fact, the parent company shares were up 28% in extended trading, that of Oracle Corp. So if those gains sustain in today's regular trading session when the markets open later this evening, it will be the biggest single-day gain for Oracle Corporation since 1999. So that has had a rub-off on Oracle Financial. Of course, some of the other movers on the downside are some of these names that have surged over Monday and Tuesday and are witnessing some profit booking today. Good Luck India is one of them. That's down 10%. Salazar Techno is down 7%, Precision Camsafts is down 7%, JTKT India 2 is down 7% in today's session. And just before we move on, pull up Car Trade Technologies and you see the recovery that the stock has seen intraday. After that downgrade that came in from JM Financial, the stock was down as much as 17%, the biggest intraday fall on record for the stock. But since then, it's Car Trade Technologies that I was talking about. The stock has recovered almost 10% from the lows of the day and is now currently trading lower by just around 7% is a Car Trade Technology. So almost a 300 rupee recovery from the day's low, which is in fact below JM Financial's price target. But the big story of the morning, US President Donald Trump wrote on his Truth Social that India and US are continuing negotiations to address the trade barriers between the two countries, marking the second such remark he has made over the last few days with regards to his ties with India. He also added that he looks forward to speaking to his good friend, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in the upcoming weeks, and that there will be no difficulty in arriving at a successful conclusion for both nations. PM Modi reciprocated warmly, saying that India and the US are close and natural partners and close friends as well.
Well, almost absolutely. So, some bit of at least thawing of relations out there. But, let's go across to Parikshit, who is here for the latest developments on this front. Parikshit?
Well, very important developments taking place between India and the United States. Donald Trump has said that he is looking forward to speaking to Prime Minister Modi in the next couple of weeks, and the trade negotiations between the two countries are continuing. The Prime Minister once again reciprocating that sentiment and said that he hopes that the trade negotiations between the two countries will be concluded soon. Now, we've been told by highly informed sources that this is a clear indicator to officials on both sides to fast-track trade negotiations, and essentially the way to sum up this is that the trade negotiations are back on track and they have a positive trajectory. Officials from both sides will now make an effort to hold early meetings and conclude this deal as early as possible. We've been told that talks are on to have delegations of the two countries meet at a very early date in the next few weeks, and this could be an Indian team going to the US or a US team coming to India. So those details are being worked out, but all effort will be made to resolve the differences and bring the tariffs to a level that are acceptable to both countries.
Parikshit, thank you for that very important update there. Now, on the flip side, CNBC International has confirmed that US President Donald Trump told European officials he's willing to impose sweeping new tariffs on India and China, and asked the EU to hit both these countries with tariffs of up to 100% to push Russian President Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table with regards to the war in Ukraine. But only if, and he's promised to do that, only if the European nations do so. Other potential measures to bring Vladimir Putin back to the negotiating table include further sanctions on Russia's shadow fleet of oil tankers, as well as restrictions on its banks, financial sectors and major oil companies.
Well, absolutely. We'll continue to track those developments on Mars. But, take a quick look at the markets. Nifty IT index is managing to hold up in the green. It's up for the second consecutive day. Yesterday, of course, it was Infosys that was leading the gains. But today we do have OFSS, which is leading the pack, up almost 2.6%. The PSU banks, which had not been participating at all so far, are also, rising in trade. And, of course, we have a lot of export-facing stocks in focus today, with, of course, India and US trade talks back on track. There are some stocks, and we have Sudarshan joining in to tell us more on this. Sudarshan?
So on the back of positive comment coming in from both US President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi, we are seeing a big move in export-facing names. So I'll start with the companies from the auto sector. First name is Bharat Forge. So day before yesterday, stock was up sharply around 6 to 7%, but yesterday it was down 2%. Again today, at one point it was up almost 4 to 5%. Currently also it's trading with a gain of 2%, and there is a reason of it, because in 2025 the stock has underperformed its peers. In 2025 it's down 6%, and today stock has crossed 100 moving average, so keep an eye on that. Second one is Samvardhana Motherson. So stock is near 52-week high. It's also one of the export-facing auto stocks, and recently over the weekend company had unveiled 5-year plan, so this also will be on track. From IT pack, so in the morning I had talked about Emphasis and KPI Technologies. So now LTI-90. So today's stock has crossed 200-day moving average and currently up almost 3 to 4%. And next one is Cyan. So in 2025, it's also one of the major underperformers from the IT pack, and today it has crossed 50-day moving average. And in 2025, the stock is down 30%, the most amongst all the mid-cap IT names. From Pharma Pack, two stocks that I have taken have huge exposure to US segment. So first one is Dr. Reddy's, which is down 6% in 2025, and US contributes more than 50% to its total revenue. So if any positive commentary that comes from US might be positive for Dr. Reddy's, and it's the same for Aurobindo, which is down 20% in 2025, and from US its contribution is around 49% to total revenue. So keep an eye on all these names. These stocks might be in focus going forward as well if we hear any positive commentary coming from the US.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of such names on our radar. Sudarshan, thank you for that update. And at the All India Management Association's 52nd National Convention, Chief Economic Advisor V. Anantha Nageshwaran delivered his keynote address during the plenary session. Listen to what he had to say.
When we talk of reforms, it is changes that are required both on the part of the government and changes that are required on the part of the private sector as well. And both sets of reforms will be essential to drive growth forward. So, first of all, we know that the situation that we face in the world today, and not just particularly with relevance to India, but generally, uncertainty is the only at the moment, whether it is geopolitics or geoeconomics, trade, or any other matter that you touch, or for that matter, internal to many countries, their respective fiscal situations, and so on. Having said that, this morning, I'm sure we all have woken up to seeing some very hopeful, comments made by the American president and a positive response from the Honorable Prime Minister as well. So in this uncertainty, we have quite a few silver linings. Normally, all countries first calculate economic activity in nominal terms and then deflate it to get the real number. In India, for quarterly GDP estimates, at least 55% of the GDP estimate components are estimated first in real terms. The deflator is then superimposed on that to get the nominal values. So it's the other way around for at least 55%. So it is not as if nominal number of 8.8 is calculated, and because the deflator is 1% instead of 2 or 3%, we got an exaggerated 7.8%. That is not true. So there is real activity, economic activity, that is driving this momentum, and not just the price levels being on the lower side.
Well, all right. On that note, let's slip into a very short break. More news and updates follow on the other side, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Well, Indian seafood exporters are surging in trade, as I was highlighting earlier, after the European Union approved 102 companies for exports. Ria is here with more details on this. Ria, tell us why all of these counters are surging in trade.
Well, yes, the European Union has approved 102 new fishery establishments for exports to the European Union, and this move is expected to add 16% additional Indian export establishments in terms of trade volume. The Commerce Ministry has also anticipated an immediate rise of over 20% in trade volumes. And remember, India's marine exports to the European Union back in FY24 stood at around $1.1 billion. Now, the Commerce Ministry has also highlighted that India had been engaging with its EU counterparts over the past 3 months to address sanitary and phytosanitary issues, and following some technical level meetings and negotiations, all the establishments that were previously delisted due to contamination concerns have now been reinstated. So this is a big positive for the entire industry as a whole. Now, the Commerce Ministry has also highlighted that this move is a positive signal for the 13th round of ongoing FTA negotiations between the India and the European Union, and the listing of these units by the EU was a long pending demand by India. Marine products have also recently been impacted by the 50% tariff rate imposed by the US on India. And remember, US is the largest export market for marine products from India, followed by the European Union. Now, in terms of exposure to the European Union for listed Indian players, the first one is Avanti Feeds. 17.4% of their shrimp feed revenue in FY25 came from Europe, and the company has said that they are already working on expanding their presence in non-US markets, including the European Union. For Apex frozen foods, around 39% of the total revenue of the company in FY25 came from the European Union. This is up from 26% in the previous financial year, and they've also seen robust demand from the European Union in FY25, and they continue to strengthen their presence in the markets. Some other listed players that also supply to the European Union include Coastal Corporation, Waterbase, as well as IFB Agro. And on the back of this, all of these stocks are performing well in today's trading session.
Indeed, double-digit gains for most of these names. Coastal Corp up 20, Avanti Feeds up 13, Apex Frozen up 20. Doing very well for themselves are these seafood exporters. Now, domestic services provider Urban Company's IPO opened for subscription today, and in only a few hours since the issue opened, it is already fully subscribed. The management joined us earlier today, and this is what they had to say.
We have improved our revenue from operations, which was about 437.5 crores in FY22 to about 1144.5 crores in FY25. And if you look at that 707 crores of incremental revenue that we've added to the top line, we've seen a translation of about 385 crores of that moving to the adjusted EBITDA. Broadly speaking, the company has turned a corner and is sort of at a break-even stage. It is very much our ambition to continue to grow at the same clip that we have been growing for the last few years. I would say it's very important for us to continue to grow well and make sure that that growth happens at the back of profitability. We have to continue to grow it with further profitability, whether we enter into newer cities or newer categories. That margin expansion has to play out there.
Well, meanwhile, the family feud at the Sona Comstar Group following Sanjay Kapoor's demise has only gotten murkier. Ashmit here has the latest in this development. What is happening with the inheritance saga, which involves Sanjay Kapoor's assets worth almost 30,000 crores? Ashmit?
Well, just to set the context, it was Karisma Kapoor's children with Sanjay Kapoor that had filed this petition before the Delhi High Court. In that petition, Priya Kapoor, the widow of Sanjay Kapoor, as well as Rani Kapoor, the mother of Sanjay Kapoor, were also named as parties. And before the Delhi High Court today, it became a three-way contest. Competing claims being made by Karisma Kapoor's children, disputed by Priya Kapoor, being disputed in turn by Rani Kapoor, the mother. I'll take you through them one by one. As far as Karisma Kapoor's children are concerned, they're claiming their status as Class 1 as they're claiming each of them is claiming 1/5 of the entire assets of Sanjay Kapoor. Their claim essentially is that the will that is being forwarded, that is being claimed by Priya Kapoor, has been forged, has been fabricated, and that it denies them any stake to the assets, any entitlement to the assets of Sanjay Kapoor. So to that end, they are seeking some form of interim protection that the assets of Sanjay Kapoor are not frittered away. That's as far as Karisma Kapoor's children are concerned. Priya Kapoor, the widow of Sanjay Kapoor, has clarified her position that there is a very neat trail of word-stamped word files, emails, WhatsApp messages that clearly indicate that there is in fact a genuine authenticity as far as this will is concerned. And then going on to say that it's not like Karisma Kapoor's children are being left on the road. In fact, submitting before the Delhi High Court that just 5 days prior to the Delhi High Court suit being filed, just 5 days prior to that, assets worth 1,900 crore rupees were transferred in favor of the children on account of the family trust. Now, in the middle of all of this, Rani Kapoor was also present through her counsel. Her counsel argued that this is an extremely unfortunate position as far as the mother is concerned. She's claiming entitlement to assets worth 10,000 crore rupees. She's saying the will is excluding her, the family trust is excluding her, that she's not been given any stake as far as the assets of her very own son is concerned, that this is her family's legacy and that she's being denied her legacy, she's being denied her fair share of the assets. So an ugly dispute this before the Delhi High Court. The High Court for now has not passed any interim directions. This matter has now been posted to October 9th, and that's when the High Court will look to pass, if at all, any directions on whether or not any interim protection is required, any interim assets orders are required for securing assets of Sanjay Kapoor. Back to you.
Interesting developments there, Ashmit. Thank you for joining in. Just before we take that break, the 120, 130 point gains on the index are now down to just 80 points. So slightly off the highs of the day is where the Nifty stands. HDFC Bank is now at the lowest point of the day, as is RBL Bank. So two of those names there, HDFC Bank now has slipped into the red. RBL Bank has extended its losses at the lowest point of the day, 3.25% lower on that stock as well. Take a short break, back with more on the other side. Welcome back. Now, Nepal's parliament building, Supreme Court and residences of several senior leaders were set ablaze on Tuesday as anti-government protests spiraled out of control. CNN News 18's Anand Tiwari is at the Supreme Court in Kathmandu with an update of the situation as of today.
पूरा काठमांडू इस वक्त आरबी के हवाले है और न्यूज़ 18 इंडिया की टीम पर भी हमला हुआ। हमारा आई कार्ड छीन लिया गया, लेकिन उसके बाद अब हम मोबाइल से ये कवरेज आपको दिखा रहे हैं। हमारा कैमरा अभी काम नहीं कर रहा है। इस वक्त हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर हैं। और ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तस्वीरें हैं, आप देख सकते हैं सुप्रीम कोर्ट में यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं कि पूरा सुप्रीम कोर्ट है जो इस पर यहाँ पे प्रदर्शनकारी पहुँच गए थे और यहाँ पर पूरा सुप्रीम कोर्ट को आग के हवाले कर दिया गया। यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे सैकड़ों बाइकें थी जो पूरी तरह से जल चुकी हैं। ये देखिए ये बाइकें जो है वो जली हुई आपको यहाँ पे नज़र आ रही हैं। ये पूरा देखिए यहाँ पर पूरा धुएं का गुबार आपको नज़र आ रहा है। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट है नेपाल का जो पूरी तरह से जल गया है, जिस तरह से लोग काफ़ी नाराज़ थे यहाँ की सरकार थे और उन्होंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट को भी निशाना बनाए। देखिए यहाँ पर अभी दमकल विभाग की टीमें पहुँची हुई हैं, जितनी भी गाड़ियाँ थी उन सबको आग के हवाले कर दिया गया है। और देखिए ये पूरा सुप्रीम कोर्ट का प्रीमाइसेस है और ये देखिए पूरे शीशे तोड़ दिए गए हैं। ऊपर सर्वोच्च न्यायालय लिखा हुआ है, देखिए आप देख सकते हैं सर्वोच्च न्यायालय सुप्रीम कोर्ट। देखिए ये यहाँ पर नेपाल के पुलिस के जवान भी यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं। आप देखिए फायर विभाग की गाड़ियाँ, देखिए कितनी गाड़ियाँ जो है यहाँ पर, लोग भी जो है यहाँ के सारे लोग जो है वो यहाँ पर मदद आगे कर रहे हैं। और देखिए ये पूरा जितनी बाइक में वाहन थे इन सबको जो है वो आपके हवाले कर लिया गया है।
Thank you so much for bringing us the latest developments that are happening in Nepal. But, back home, the Nifty is back. There's still some momentum going on, 90-point uptick for the Nifty. The mid-cap index also doing quite well. It's, in fact, managing to outperform what the Nifty is doing. So, all's well here. Don't go anywhere. That's a wrap on this edition of Business Lunch because Midcap Radar will come up next.